This episode is brought to you by Amazon. Sometimes the most painful part of getting sick is the getting better part. Waiting on hold for an appointment, sitting in crowded waiting rooms, standing in line at the pharmacy, that's painful. Amazon One Medical and Amazon Pharmacy remove those painful parts of getting better with things like 24/7 virtual visits and prescriptions delivered to your door. Thanks to Amazon Pharmacy and Amazon One Medical, healthcare just got less painful.
To realize the future America needs, we understand what's needed from us. To face each threat head on. We've earned our place in the fight for our nation's future. We are Marines. We were made for this.
Hi, I'm Chris.
And I'm Jeremy.
And I'm Fergal.
And we're from Movie Smash.
Comic book movies are having a golden age right now with the MCU.
Movies based on comics aren't necessarily a new thing, but they're a big thing.
Join us every other Tuesday on Movie Smash.
We explore these movies and find some hidden gems.
Every other week, we revisit some of the best.
And some of the worst movies based on comics or graphic novels.
Was Green Lantern as bad as you remember?
Heck no!
Is Time Cop the most accurate time travel movie ever created?
Absolutely.
Was Mystery Men way ahead of its time?
Should they be revisited? Should they be forgotten?
Join us on Movie Smash and find out. Listen wherever you find your fine podcasts.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the latest episode of All Too Real 2. My name is Michael E. Cullen II, and with me, as always, is...
Sesame, I'm so scared, and Carta.
I'm sorry, are you okay? Why are you scared?
I'm scared because I took a bunch of pills earlier, and I'm super amped up now, and I can't really calm myself down. I tried drinking herbal teas, tried taking a nap, tried listening to meditation music, tried to meditate along with the meditation. Nothing's working. So
You know what's funny though?
What?
Those pills were just placebos. They were like sugar pills. There was nothing in them.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, I guess now I calm down then.
It was all like
now that I know. What's it? Yeah. Now that I know that they're not real, it's like fine.
Because they were the pills that I sent you in the mail, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the one that customs almost sees, but then they were like, yeah, whatever, it's fine. Those ones, yeah.
They came in the bottle that said, keeps Matt awake pills. That
keeps Matt awake. Yes. Yeah, keeps this pills, yeah. Hilarious.
So today on the show, folks, speaking of pills, we are covering a very special episode of Saved by the Bell, the 80s and 90s television series that everybody loved back in the day. We are covering, depending on how you look at it, it's either season 2, episode 9,
yeah,
or season 3, episode 9.
That's what confused me. Yeah.
If you count Miss Bliss, Good Morning Miss Bliss as season 1, then it's season 3. But if you don't, it's season 2. So that's why it's confusing.
On Amazon Prime, it said season 3. I'm like, wait a minute, season 2 episode 9 doesn't say anything about Jessie.
Yeah, it's because they consider Good Morning Miss Bliss season 1. So
okay.
Yeah. So just giving people a heads up if you're trying to find this to watch. Yes, this is a very special episode. It originally aired November 3rd of 1990. So
wow.
Almost a quarter of a century ago.
No, more. 34 years ago.
Oh, yeah, that's what I mean. 30 something. Oh, wow. I'm old.
No, I always do that too, where I think something that's I'm like, oh, something like 1990 is 20 years ago. I'm like, no, it's not 2014.
No. I think 1977 was 20 years ago. Yeah. No, joking. This was Long time ago, folks. Maybe before most of you were born.
Yeah, maybe.
Depending on what our demographics are, I don't know, and I don't care. I do care about you people and what you are. I hope you're all happy, and I hope you're happy in your bodies and who you are, and fine with yourself and whatever demographic you fall into, whether it be male, female, non-binary pals. Whatever it is, I'm good. Anyway, so this episode was directed by Don Barnhart, written by Sam Broderick, Tom Tenowich, and Peter Engel. And it stars Mark Paul Gosselaar as Zach Morris, Mario Lopez as AC Slater, Dustin Diamond as Samuel Screech Powers, Tiffany Amber Thiessen at the time, she's now just Tiffany Thiessen, as Kelly Kapowski, Elizabeth Berkley as Jessie Spano, Lark Voorhees as Lisa Turtle, Dennis Haskins as Mr. Richard Belding, and Patrick Thomas O'Brien as Mr. Dewey. Yes, the Internet Movie Database short synopsis is Jessie turns to caffeine pills to keep up with her studies and her new singing group, Hot Sunday. Yes.
Yeah, it's a great name.
Yes, Hot Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy. So what is your initial reaction to this episode after all these years?
So it's really interesting because, when I was like a teenager, late teenager, early 20s, even up to like late 20s, it was like a funny meme, of like, I'm so excited, I'm so scared, but then like now as like an older adult, I'm like really watched this with a lot different feelings of like empathy and like seriousness of something like that, where it's like, when you're younger and stuff, it seems like it, something funny or like, oh, how could someone get addicted to something so fast? And it's like, well, this was like over like a week or 2 week time span. And yes, it is possible to get addicted to something that quickly. I'm sorry, Drew. And, and like the whole aspect too of like how she now, and it's just like, like lack of sleep for like that long of a time period actually really can make you like not in control of your emotions. Like that's just like a known scientific fact. So like, but as a kid and stuff, you think it's funny and all these things, and it is still fun. Don't get me wrong, it's hilarious. But at the same time, I'm just like feeling actually like really bad for her of like how much she's like overextending herself and like just not being able to get any sleep and worrying about getting strain A, go to Stanford. Anyway, sorry, I'm going into the actual episode other than what my initial reaction was.
Yeah. I mean, I liked it. I still think it was it's good. It is a little cheesy, but it's still good. It's just your typical, Saturday morning sitcom. TNBC. Yes. But yeah, it was it's a memorable episode. I still remember it fondly. It's probably the episode of the show that I remember the most. So yeah. Anyways, what goes down in Bayside here?
In Bayside. Well, several things happen. So Jessie's really stressing out about her geometry test. I guess it's like the only subject that she's just not that great at school. So she has to do like extra study just to make sure she get a good grade in it. And she ends up getting a C, even though she studied probably a lot longer than anyone else did. And it turns out Slater is actually just really good at math naturally. So then he offers, to help her study. They kind of got this weird relationship where he's kind of like a second, and I don't know if he really...
This was before they were like into their relationship. This episode actually includes the first kiss between Slater and Jessie. So yeah.
Okay, yeah. I was just wondering if he really believed these things, if he was just like negging her, by the way. So negging is like a manosphere thing that basically means you're just intentionally trying to piss off a woman, but whatever, it's stupid. But like
it was the 80s and 90s, and they wanted his character to be kind of a macho pig at certain points. So I think it was might have been genuine. And then he has some like stereotypical beliefs when it comes to his the way he thinks in the reboot that they did a few years ago. So
okay, but
I don't know if that was just kind of playing up the trope of how he used to be. So yeah,
right. Because God forbid someone change after like 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
Change your mentality or their perspective on something.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyways, he helps her study. She's also, Zach, of course, he's always scheming to make money. Every time he sees an opportunity, he wants to exploit it. without doing any of the actual work, that's just how his character is. He's done a million of.
They were hanging out in the Max at the beginning of the episode, and she's complaining about how she's got to study for this thing, and before the test. This is before she gets her C. And she's just going crazy, talking about how she really wants to get into Stanford and everything. And so Kelly and Lisa come in, and they turn on the jukebox, and then all of a sudden they start singing along to "I'm So Excited," made famous. Right. Pointer Sisters. And so Zach, totally clueless to the fact that his best friend, since they were kids, Jessie, decides that, hey, she's been sitting here complaining about how she needs more time to study and she needs to, do that. He thinks, hey, these girls can sing well, and my dad's friend runs a record company and they're looking for girl groups that are similar to New Kids on the Block. So
why would his dad randomly know a record producer?
That's just Zach. And so he thinks, hey, I'm going to take advantage of my friends, especially the one who's going through a, teenage crisis right here. And I'm going to exploit them and try to, but they say, no, we just like singing for fun and they mentioned that they like singing in the locker room. So,
oh God.
So
a lot of bad things in this episode happened.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's an episode of Zach Morris's trash about this, but
yeah, probably.
He decides that his way to get a recording of them so he can send it to the record person, so then he can of course use it to his advantage to milk money out of them or whatever. He sends his other best friend Screech dressed up like an old Irish woman
for some reason. Why does she have to be Irish? And
it's the most ridiculous costume. You could tell it was Screech the whole fucking time.
I know. And
he comes in and they got a microphone attached to the end of a broomstick, and he's just or a mop stick, I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's like, but how would you even, because it didn't even look like there was a microphone. So where was it?
There. If you looked closely, there was a small little microphone sticking out of the top of the thing, like one of those you would have on an old tape recorder or something. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
wow.
Yeah, he goes in there pretending that his name is Sinead O'Connor, and rest in peace. And yes, and the one that everybody kind of ruined her career because she ripped up a photo of the Pope on Saturday Night Live, Sinead O'Connor, when she was trying to prove a point about the sexual
of children,
sexual abuse of children within the church, but somehow they had to apologize for it and stuff and everything, and all of America hated her, and
I remember that even as a kid, I felt really, really bad and sorry for her.
Yeah. Anywho, Screech, records them singing in the girls' locker room.
Yep. Yeah. Just breaking it.
This show, many times, guys go into the girls' locker room on it.
Yeah, this is not the only time. This is about a dozen times where this happens.
Because even when he was suggesting it to Screech is like, I don't have to wear your aunt's bra again this time, do I?
Right. So that was off screen. So now we know that there's things that we don't see where Zach has basically coerced his quote unquote friend, really not so much a friend as more as an acolyte who doesn't really understand social well, and which again Zach plays because that's all he does, quote unquote friend, finds vulnerability for his own personal gain and or pleasure, as can be seen in another episode where he ends up making out with Lisa, knowing full well that Screech is love forever. And anyway, that's getting far into the weeds.
Getting a little bit off topic too. So Mark Paul Gosselaar currently stars on a show called Found that I really like.
It's good. No, it's a great show.
Where he plays somebody that kidnapped girls when they were teenagers and stuff, and little girls, and kidnapped them and held them captive and stuff. And I honestly think Zach Morris is a worse person than that character.
No, totally. I agree. Because he's just a terrible because the thing is too, this guy is a grown adult, he's very jaded, obviously he's got many mental health issues, he's a terrible person, but Zach Morris was already acting like this as a 12-year-old. He was
So part of me, and you know, the fact that you know, the characters have different names. I in my head canon, I think that the character of Sir that he plays on Found is actually just Zach Morris grown up.
Yeah. No, seriously, that's a great like origin story of like what happened to Zach after college and the college years or whatnot. Yeah, he's just an overall bad person. I mean, like this scheme of his for his dad's friend's record company or whatever.
Yeah.
This is like one out of like 1,000 get rich quick money. Like, I mean, this is not just a one-off. He's been exploiting people. I mean, God, I think the very first time he did that, he ended up like losing like almost all of his teacher's savings to invest in like some bullshit peanut company or something. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah. but yeah, I was gonna say
potato. Yeah.
It's like the thing with him is it's just he's a horrible person, and this is not the only horrible thing he does in this episode either. So so basically, you know, Slater comes over to help her study, and what happens then?
Oh, right. Yeah. So, like I said before, Slater seems like he's just naturally good at math, and so he's helping her study. And he ends up finding she ends up suggesting to him to take one of these pills that she bought at the drugstore, just like over the counter. Like, you know, being a prescription type of thing.
Caffeine
and
pill.
She's like, pretty much caffeine. And then she's like, hey,
says they're caffeine pills. So, yeah, it's made clear.
Yeah. Yeah, and so, you know, she's like, oh, they help me, they help me stay awake. And then, you know, Slater, being kind of the smart dude he is like, this is actually probably not really good for you. He's like, no, I bought it at the drugstore. It's over the counter. And he's like, that doesn't mean it's safe just because it's over the counter. You know? Like, it's like true. I mean, there's lots. I mean, God, what was it? You could still buy alcohol at Walgreens, but then they finally go, no, it's cigarettes, I think. And yeah, so it's like a drugstore you could buy cigarettes at, or at least you could.
Well, you know, most drugstores you can also buy bleach off the shelf, but that doesn't mean you should take it.
Right, exactly. You shouldn't swallow it and drink it. Yeah. And so he kind of just basically tells her like, you know, you should probably not, you know, because, you know, they're not good for you and they could, you know, cause you like, you know, injury or problems or whatever. And she's like, okay, don't worry, I won't take them. But she ends up like taking a couple anyway, like after he leaves. And then, you know, slowly over the week, you know, she starts getting progressively more manic because, you know, these pills are what is awake. But one of the other things about stimulants is that they get you excited up, and then it becomes harder to control your emotion, especially when it comes like it. And I know a few things about that. For a time, you know, I had an issue with something that was pretty much along the lines, even though illegal.
Yeah.
And, you know, I would get a lot of work done with it. I mean, I would write like long articles, like over like a 4 or 5 hour time period, you know, stuff I would not really be able to do, you know, on my own without some kind of, you know, assistance, you know, from, you know, a type of substance or whatever. But then there would be a crash and I would sleep for like 10 or 12 hours afterwards. And so like, you know, this stuff is no joke. I mean, I can know that the episode is funny. I'm never gonna not like the episode because now I have a defect and all. Yeah. But at the same time, with that new perspective, I understand a little bit only of where that lack of sleep and that stimulant is keeping you going, and then you start feeling that energy, start getting mad. I mean, like there were times where I would almost act almost similar to her, where I'd just be like, yeah, I'm clapping my hands and shit, like just not being able to control my emotion. Obviously not to the degree where she did, like within a 3-day time span, but like, you know, whatever. But speaking of which, though, didn't you tell me that originally they wanted it to be speed, but they couldn't? I was going to bring that up.
I was going to bring that up.
Go ahead, yeah.
The trivia section, but I will tell it now, actually. Okay, in November 2016, Peter Engel said that the original script called for Jessie to become addicted to amphetamines, aka speed. NBC said they would not allow it to air unless the writers eliminated references to hard drugs. Aside from replacing the speed with caffeine pills, the script made no changes to Jessie's behavior or reactions.
Right.
So it was the same script, they just changed it to caffeine. Yeah.
And so, yeah, with the caffeine, she would not have been like as manic as she was in the episode. But yeah, just like the lack of sleep, you know, that stuff can really...
Caffeine pills. I took caffeine pills one day because I had to start school when I was in college. I was working a summer job and my job ended. I was working nights at the job too, and it ended the day before the first day of classes.
Oh God.
So I took caffeine pills to stay awake for class. I didn't sleep in between the.
Right, you wouldn't be able to sleep because your sleep pattern would have been completely off. I mean,
I knew I would fall asleep in class if I didn't take these, and I took them. It's the only time I ever took them, and I felt like my heart was going to jump out of my body. So I probably
that's
took
the thing. Like,
yeah,
that's the thing, though. Like caffeine pills and caffeine in general, can be a dangerous substance. So I know, like, this episode's funny and stuff. Like, how could she get that hooked on caffeine? It's like caffeine actually is an addictive substance. Like, it literally is.
The thing, though, is like with me, those caffeine pills made me really hyper, but then like other types of caffeine, like soda or coffee, sometimes maybe coffee a little bit is a high, makes me a little bit, but like drinking a Pepsi calms me down.
Oh, same thing. Like, when it comes to drinks, caffeine.
It's because it's because I think it's because of my ADHD, so that's why it calms me down. Yeah. Because stimulants will calm people down that are like that. That's why they say Adderall is similar to cocaine. So yeah,
it's just weird how like the brain chemistry will affect like a body differently from like one person to the other, but like it's no joke. I mean like the Panera Bread, there's an issue where people were having heart attacks. Extra caffeinated drink that Panera Bread was selling, like some kind of like fruit kind of drink or whatever, and because they were like advertising it like specifically for the reason of it having extra caffeine. And so like it wasn't just like a matter of like, oh, well, these people bought our drinks and sometimes bad things happen. I'm like, no, you were advertised specifically for that. Like, that's different than like them just drinking it and dying, like.
And there was like, and there's been, I mean, since the dawn of the whole like, Monster and Red Bulls and all that stuff too, with the energy drink market, there's been a lot of people, especially kids, who drink it thinking it's just like juice or soda or something, but it's not. And kids have had heart attacks and shit if they drink it. It's okay to drink. It says on the bottle you can only have one a day.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. I used to work third shift at a job, and this one guy I worked with literally drank 3 or 4 of them a night.
Oh God.
Monster Energy drink. Yeah. And I'm just like, So I don't know if he's still alive or not, but he was young. I don't know. I blocked him on Facebook years ago for other reasons, but still I don't.
Oh, wait, are you talking about Kyle?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So, okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So there's that, and but what else goes down here? So we've got the So Slater basically tells her, you shouldn't take these, and then she still takes some. And then things get progressively worse. And at one point after class, Slater takes Zach aside and says, I'm really worried about Jessie. She's taking these caffeine pills. And he's like, oh, they're probably just vitamins.
It's like, yeah, Zach, caffeine's a vitamin. He's such a fucking moron.
It's like, she's too smart to do that.
Right. So that's the other stereotype too, that like, only dumb people do drugs, bro. No.
My thing is, it's like, even if you're not like really close with Slater at this point in the series, I don't know what's going on. He's friends with Jessie. You're friends with Jessie. He's worried about your friend.
Right.
Maybe
your mutual friend. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe intervene a little bit or something.
But no, because then he wouldn't be able to exploit her for the music. That's the other thing. They do a music video at one point. But, go ahead.
He triples down on the whole Hot Sunday thing. So yeah,
it's just it's so sad because like she overextended herself in so many different directions, trying to study for this exam pretty much all night long, every single night of the week. She's doing this song, and then eventually Zach's like, the other thing too about Zach is that he just makes plans for people and then tells them afterwards without even consulting them. I'm like, that's not what you do. Like, that's not how you treat your friends. You don't just like say, oh, by the way, we're going to be making tomorrow. It's like, no.
I forgot to tell you, Sesame.
Oh, what's up?
Tomorrow, you and 2 of my other friends have to wear a bunch of like leotards and shoot a music video. Okay.
All right, whatever.
Yeah, you need to. You need to write an
Yeah.
original song before then too.
That's the other thing too. They wrote a song and recorded a music video all within like a 10-hour time period, professionally shot, somehow edited. The song wasn't even that bad, actually. It was like a typical early 90s kind of
song
pop.
It's a song called "Go For It." It was actually pretty good. Yeah.
It wasn't. I think I'm gonna try to make something. No.
I wonder if it's on Spotify. It was released on the Saved by the Bell soundtrack back in '95, according to my trivia here. So
that is pretty interesting. So they. At this point, though, Kelly and Lisa, they kind of pressure her a little bit to do it too, but like they didn't really understand that she was like to the point.
They didn't know anything about that. So
yeah, they didn't realize. They thought, because the thing about Jessie is that she's always been kind of like a go-getter type personality throughout the entire show. So this wasn't really like a new thing for her. So it didn't really like alarm anyone, except for Slater, of course, which everyone just disregarded because he's a wrestler jock, and even though clearly he's better at math than Jessie, so actually he does know. Fine, whatever. And so like they didn't really realize like to the extent that they were like demanding something of her that she just wasn't really able to do, with everything else that she's got on her plate. And so, she doesn't want to let down her friend. Jack, of course, he's always exploiting them and finding their vulnerabilities that he can exploit for his own pleasure and or financial gain. Again, 1 out of 1,000 scheme ad throughout the whole series. And, so they record a music video. Then they have to sing at the what's the place called? The cafe? The
Max.
The Max, yeah.
Yeah.
And then they're supposed to sing at the Max in front of the record executive dude to see if they'll, sign them or something for a record deal. That's the other thing, too. It's like Zach is just like assuming that because they have this opportunity, that therefore automatically means like they're just going to drop like all of their other life because now suddenly this opportunity fell in their lap. I'm like, you don't have to take every opportunity. You do realize that, right? Like if someone was like, oh, Zach, hey, I just found out that like they have a job opening at the chicken slaughtering factory. Want to take it? Well, according to Zach, you have to because the opportunity fell out. It's like,
well, this opportunity only comes once in a lifetime. Gonna lose yourself in the music moment.
That's also not true. That's such a trope too, that they think like just because a big opportunity comes your way that like that's the only time it's ever going to happen. It's like, well, wait a minute. If someone saw something enough that they wanted to make you basically like use you essentially, for their own personal gain, but also you would get like, something else, then who's to say that someone else wouldn't offer that on and would offer you the same type of deal, if not better one, So it's the idea that like, I only have one chance at this, and so I have to drop everything else in my life. And it's like, Jessie doesn't care about that shit. She doesn't want to be a musician or a pop star. That's not her goal in life. But Zach is like making for her on her behalf,
Yeah, it's it's like I saw something the other day, and the musical artist Her.
No, I don't.
Her. Anyway, she's got a really good voice and everything. I guess she was on the Maury show, the talk show years ago.
Yeah.
And so she was on there and she sang and everything, and she had a really beautiful voice, and she was like a young tween or something, when she did it. And she said on the show, they asked what she wanted to do, and she grew up and she says, I want to be a dentist. And so they played that clip on The Soup, hosted by Joel McHale. And he said, don't be a dentist. You need to be a singer. So this is kind of good, kind of bad, because it turned out okay. Because years later, after she has a recording career and everything like that, she found Joel McHale and she says, you're the reason I'm a singer.
Wow.
So it's...
I mean, it is kind of good because dentistry has one of the highest depression rates of any profession. Oh, yeah. So yeah, it's interesting.
But sometimes pushing somebody's dreams are good, but a lot of times you don't want to push too hard, So.
Well, yeah, true. And especially with Zach, because again, this all takes place within like a school week, like 4 or 5. Like this is all, so the opportunity fell in their lap. Then they record the song that when Screech invaded their privacy, real bad. Got in trouble for whatever. And then they do the music video, and then they have to practice to then go the when they're gonna sing a song to the reg deck. And at this point, Jessie's just full on, man. Like she's more excited than any of them at this point. Like like clapping, like stopping. I mean, she could not
Yeah.
control her mind or body whatsoever. And so, but then she crashes out, and then she just goes and falls asleep on her bed because it's probably been like 2 or 3 days that she's gotten more than like out night. And so Zach, comes over to wake her up. It's like, hey, we gotta get ready, for the show. And like her mind completely elsewhere. Like she thinks that she has even taken the geometry test. It was like she already did that like early day before or whatever, and she was like the first person to finish the test, and she's like, oh, what are we singing? Like she forgot all about the singing thing that they're doing at Bayside or whatever. And then Zach, of course, he's always the last person to ever understand. He understands that she's been taking these pills because she's gonna take some more so that she could go sing at Cafe or the Max or whatever. Not HBO, that's different, like, and totally different thing. And and then that's when she has the infamous breakdown saying, "What's that?
You can't watch this show on HBO Max. Just letting you know, it's on Amazon Prime."
No, you can't. It's on Prime. Sorry, and kind of like the Prime drinks because we're talking about caffeine, of like the crossover. Anyway, so that's where the infamous breakdown scene she has, where he's like, "I'm so excited, I'm so excited, I'm so scared," and then Zach, of course, hugs her. But at the same time, see, as a kid, teenager, 20 stuff, it's hilarious. But I'm like, an older adult now, and I'm like, I feel so horrible for her. It's like she's obviously like in so much pain, and she's like stressing herself out. She's trying to be perfect. She's trying to be everything to everybody. You can't do that now because you eventually will crash. That's just how that works, And so I'm sitting there, tearing up as I'm watching this scene now, because I just feel, so horrible for her, and it's just, and that, knowing, of course, that they eventually wanted this first place, didn't even make more serious of like, her getting on some very addictive, up with Uddy, and so it's like not trying to be serious or whatever, but it's like, how our system really just like fucks up so horribly, especially that are academically driven, like she wants to go to Stanford and stuff. And it's like our system, like literally like plays with these kids' lives, literally, because some people take their own life, stress, whatever. And they're like, no, totally normal. That's just part of our society. Some people are going to have to take one for the team. I'm like, no, I don't agree with that at all. Not one bit.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's an interesting thing too about the whole fact that they were going to make it speed. So 5 years after the events of Jessie's song, another Peter Engel produced teen sitcom called California Dreams, which I don't know if you ever watched that.
I think I have, yeah.
I think it's better than Saved by the Bell, but attempted a similar feat with a guitarist Tiffany in the band, in that out of nowhere she has an addiction to steroids. So they actually did use real drugs in that one. So yeah,
that's another one, man. I had a steroid thing going on where I got really, really bad sunburn on my back, and I was like 23 or 24 at the time. And it was really bad. I mean, it was like a second degree. And my doctor was like, yeah, we're gonna have to put you on some steroids like right away. Like, and so it's like, okay, whatever. I mean, I always thought steroids is like shit, like bodybuilding, small and because back handles. And man, I was out of my element. I mean, like within like the year, I was like remember those like really fucked up recordings I made, like doing like frost, like that stuff. No, not that one. The Jessie's girl. Speaking of Jessie, you remember Remember the karaoke song I recorded of Jessie's Girl, where it just sounds like my words are like rushing out of me, like that was because I was on steroids at the time.
Oh wow!
And literally, that's how it felt. Like I was speaking faster than like the thoughts that were like my thoughts. My thoughts were like faster than what and like I just had to get those words out, and so like that's why it sounds like I'm rushing throughout the song, like my lyrics are coming out, but they're actually supposed to come out in the song, is because like I was leaked up. I mean, I had to take some. I wasn't like abusing them. I was taking them as prescribed. I wasn't even like, oh, I'll take a little extra. Like I was going exactly like hour by hour of like how my doc take it. But man, I mean, like for like 3 days, I mean, I couldn't sleep. I full of energy. I mean, now recently I did take steroids because I had an issue. My lip was swelling and didn't do anything for me whatsoever. I was not amped up because now I'm older and shit. But like back then, man, like, and that's the thing though, I felt really good on that shit because stimulants are.
And the thing is, you never know how you're going to react to any kind of medication. Nobody knows of any kind, So it's just, be careful with anything you take. I mean,
absolutely.
You can overdose on water. So, yeah.
Woman died when she was having the water chugging competition. on the radio or whatever to win like tickets to some concert or whatever it was.
Mhm.
Totally, yeah. And so I mean, I only bring this stuff up not to like be super serious or whatever, but just like the like stimulants are no joke. Like even
No.
caffeine, like it's like there was a time in America where like they have tried to ban like coffee and caffeine for that very reason, like because they saw caffeine as like an actual stuff, like an actual drug. Like nowadays,
Yeah.
you know, they lost that war, but like there was a time where they lumped in caffeine with like alcohol and like marijuana, like actual is like an actual drug. Like even Mormons to this day, I mean, a lot of them probably like technically they're not supposed to
Yeah.
have caffeine because they view it as like drug, like a stimulant. Because technically it is.
And then things change for time to time. It's like at like before Coke became like a soda, it was originally like a Coca wine, which was like alcoholic.
Oh,
and
okay.
and it also had cocaine in it. And,
Wow.
And then due to laws in certain areas, they couldn't make it anymore because one of the ingredients was outlawed, but it wasn't the cocaine.
Yeah, it wasn't the cocaine. No, it was the
It was
alcohol.
alcohol. So they could still make it with cocaine. They just couldn't have it alcoholic. So yeah.
Well, that's the other thing too about cocaine and other stimulants and shit is that for when they were first introduced, they were introduced as like actual medication. Like you can go literally get like a prescription for cocaine and just go at a pharmacy and just pick it up. Like Sigmund Freud, Sigmund Freud got addicted to caffeine. I mean, cocaine because he literally thought this was like the answer to everything. Like he was like, "Oh my God, this cures depression. It cures anxiety. You get all this work done." And then he's like, "Yeah, of course it does all those things." But like,
and back then, people would take like anything. Like you had those like cure-alls that would be like, you know, I'll take this whatever medication it is, and it's gonna help my depression. It's gonna help my my stomach ache. It's gonna help the headache I have. It's gonna help the scar. The slice I have on my back from, you know, getting stabbed. You know, whatever. It's gonna
right. No, exactly. It's one of those, what they call it, panacea. I don't know how to pronounce the name.
Panacea.
Yes, but it's like a lot of people there, they have these ideas where I'm like, it doesn't make any sense if you think about it because like there can't be one drug that can like solve every problem.
Yeah.
Like,
it'd be great if
anyway.
What's that? It'd be great if there was, you know.
Oh, totally. Absolutely.
Take this for your erectile dysfunction and your and your depression at the same time, or your erectile
or whatever,
and your and your baldness, you know, whatever. It's just like,
it's like, yeah, it's everything, man. It's everything. It's the same people when like people act like weed is like the
cure all,
like, solved all the cure all for every problem. Like weed, bro. Like it's not habit forming, bro. It's not like alcohol. I just have to do it all day, every day. Okay, like just listen to what you said there, but right, like, but yeah,
or it's like the meme I saw the other day from this crazy conspiracy theorist friend I keep on Facebook just for fun. Posted this one that said something about how God created everything. You know, gave everything to you in your body that can take care of you. You don't need medicine or vaccines and all this other stuff.
God, okay.
And so I just responded. I said, God also created doctors, and if you think that God gave us everything at the beginning of time, you should get off this device you're posting this propaganda on.
Yeah, I mean, like, and that's the other thing too. If you believe that God created that, whatever, that's that last argument, whatever. But like, there's also like tons of poisonous plants. I mean, there's literally a thing called the Garden of Death somewhere in I think UK, where it's like the whole garden is nothing but plants that can kill you. Like you have to like wear like a special uniform and gloves and shit to even go in there, touch something, it might kill you. So God made that stuff. So that mean that's healthy. Go ahead and eat a belladonna plant. You'll get like the worst stomach ache of your life. Like
belladonna is a cool name though. Anyway, so
but like that plant will fuck up your stomach real bad. Like
the other thing is too, it's like people that, you know, are saying that, you know, vaccines are bad because, you know, some people died from them or whatever. And it's like, yeah, some people die from taking aspirin. I get a migraine headache from eating onions. Does that mean nobody else in the world should have onions? You know, it's like, what the fuck?
That's right. You got an allergy to onions. I got one to I think it's onions actually as well. And banana. I can't eat bananas. Bananas give me terrible stomach ache.
Yeah,
so it's like, you know, like
you're not out here advocating that everybody else in the world doesn't eat bananas. You know, it's
right.
like-
No, exactly. Yeah, no, totally.
and the thing is with any kind of medicine, you know, some people can literally die from having an aspirin, but it doesn't mean that everyone in the world should stop taking aspirin for a headache. You know, it's just the stupidest
Yeah,
thing.
it's whatever.
Yeah. So anyways, we're kind of off topic here, but anyways,
Sorry. Yeah.
back to the end of the episode, you know, she realizes, you know, she's overdoing things, and then she's going to get therapy and stuff. Her friends all come in there, and then she gets her first kiss from Slater in this episode too. So that was cool.
No, him kisses him.
Yeah, that's right. Either way, they both get a kiss.
Well, either way, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. So, any other thoughts about the episode?
No, I think I've maxed out my thought.
One interesting trivia that I didn't get to as we were talking is the fact that the caffeine pills that she was taking were actually Red Hot's cinnamon candy.
Oh, I remember those.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
they filled the bottle with Red Hots, and that's what she was taking. It's like I did a short film that I never actually released one time, and I had a guy that was going to overdose on pills, and I needed something in the bottle or whatever, and I just put in a bunch of orange Tic Tacs in there. So, you know,
I like that one. I like that flavor.
Yeah,
It's
so,
like the useless flavor of Tic Tacs. It doesn't do anything for your breath, but it tastes really good.
It's good.
It is.
Yeah, but I hear that America's going to ban Tic Tacs. Oh no, wait, that was TikTok.
No,
Anyways,
TikTok. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So that's all I got to say about this episode, though. It's a classic. If there's any other very special episodes of a TV series that you want us to cover, go to all2real2.com. Let us know on some of our social media, or message me at mike@cullenpark.com. Yeah, like I said, we're all over the social media. We've got different things, all except for the platform owned by the First Lady, Elon Musk. And
yeah.
And but yeah, just check that out. Spread word about our show on Facebook or wherever you can. Check out some of the charities that we have listed in our show notes and help where you can. I don't know, you know, be good to each other.
Yeah.
You know, if you have a friend who you think is addicted to something, intervene. You know, don't be afraid that's going to mess up your friendship if you're going to save somebody's life.
Yeah, totally.
Don't try to take advantage of them and start a all-girl group or something, you know.
Don't do it.
Yeah. And just remember, folks, that I love you. Sesame loves you. Zach Morris probably doesn't.
No.
Trans lives are human lives. Fight the Christofascist patriarchy.
I know, it's such a hard thing to say. Yeah. Christo-fascist. Yeah.
Patriarchy.
Yes. God.
Free Palestine. And until next time.
Hold on. Also, fuck Assad. Syria is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see. Hopefully things are.
Hopefully we'll see what happens.
So it comes out. We'll see what happens. And folks, and until next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to All Too Real 2 podcast, a Cullen Park production. Produced and edited by Michael E. Cullen II. Music by Matthew Hawes. Subscribe and share the show. Visit us at cullenpark.com.